You ever feel like you got goals you want to achieve, but feel like they're out of your reach? You ever feel like you have mountains you want to climb, but feel you'll never reach the top? You ever had dreams, but feel like they're just that, just dreams? Do you ever have hope to change all the negativity in the world, but feel like not only can you make that difference, but the people you need to help assist you to make that difference will never take the step to help you achieve that goal? Have you ever felt discouragement that you'll never get out of that deep pit that you feel like you live in? Well, if you have, you're not alone. And today, I'm going to help you find the rope to climb out that hole that was used to try to bury you, along with your dreams, your hopes, and your freedom. With that said, welcome to Ordinary People Podcast, where we talk to ordinary people with extraordinary stories. I am your host, Alan the Great, and this is the Extraordinary Opinion segment. A lot of times our dreams, our hopes, our achievements, all the things that we want, they get lost. They get lost because we're constantly lied to. Whether it's through the media or through our friends. We're constantly lied to about what we can and can't do. Constantly told what you can and can't do. But you're rarely given examples of why you can't do it. And when you are, it's normally because the person who's telling you can't do it, they failed to achieve success. It don't always have to be the exact same thing you did. It don't even have to be similar. It could just be any form of their goals or dreams that they just could not find the way to achieve it. And when they can't achieve it, when they find these limits, these hurdles, these roadblocks in their life, they then turn to you and put the same limits on you and the same roadblocks in front of you. They start to preach the same negativity that they learned to live with, accept and love to you, in hopes that you would adopt that same negativity and spread it like cancer, spread it like wildflowers. There's a crime being committed there. You can't see it? There's a crime being committed. Dreams are being murdered. Hope is being kidnapped. Lives are being lost. Futures are disappearing. But who's committing these crimes? Is it the person that's lying to you? Or is it you for believing those lies that's being told to you? Today I want to talk about the truth behind those lies. Truth behind lies that was always told to you and that continues to be told to you. See, there's so many people with great ideas of fixing the problems that we have in the world. When you look at the inner cities around the world, you look at the youth, it's scary. It's scary because all the violence going on, all the killings, all the murdering. You feel like you can't reach the youth. Who can talk to them? Who can change this tide that's going on? You look around and you walk around the inner city and you walk around these neighborhoods, you see extreme poverty. People who are living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes not even paycheck to paycheck. Moment to moment. Hoping that they can feed their children. Sometimes kids are going to bed hungry, with sleep being their only meal. There's families are homeless, living in the streets, and the hope to change these things all seem to be gone. At one point, we all lived and grown up with this one dream, the American dream. 2 cars in every garage, a home with a white picket fence, financial security, happy families, a future. Maybe even retiring to go to Miami, retiring to Miami when you become old, going to visit your grandkids during the summer. Sounded good, right? Sounds amazing. See, all that seems to be gone. All hope seems to be gone. All seems to be lost. Now, the only thing you can expect is terror, fear, hate. It's all we fed. It's all you fed. All you ever told is that your dreams are unrealistic, that your goals are unachievable, that the hope that you once had is now out of your reach. It can't be grabbed. And a lot of times this stuff is reported by the very people we look to for hope. It's our leaders. It's the media. We hear stories about fake news. Presidential elections are rigged. Conspiracies between our government and other governments. We hear about racist tirades all the time. And we struggle for looking for hope amongst all this negativity. And when I realized what happened was, we all been living with a sense of entitlement. We all been living with a sense of entitlement, like we're deserving of something, like we're supposed to have something, like the American dream is something that we're all entitled to without work, without fight. We're entitled to it because we are always given freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of belief, that we've got a sense of entitlement. So we forgot that all the things we enjoy, we have to continue to fight for. And that includes hope. The ability to have our American dream. To have that hope for financial security. That belief that we can achieve those things. But the problem is that we believe in the lies that was told to us. And see, the interesting thing about lies is they don't always come in the form that you think they are. They're not always as clear as you would want them to be. Lies are put in so many different forms in so many different ways. When I talk about, the conspiracies within the presidential election or our government having secret conversations with other governments that are technically illegal, you know what I call those things? A magic trick, a distraction. The great Houdini couldn't put on a better show than what's happening. These lies and these distractions are in place to prevent you from focusing on the things that really matter, from the things that really are going wrong. See, you're so focused on whether the presidential election is rigged, you can't see in your inner city, in your inner neighborhoods, your children are killing each other. You can't even see that your bank accounts are starting to be depleted. You can't see that your future security is starting to disappear. That you're losing your rights. And the whole time you have a hand on your back telling you that everything's okay. Go back to sleep. Keep your eyes closed and keep walking that straight line. Everything's going to be okay. We're leading you the right way. You're believed in the lies that was told to you. You're not realizing a crime is being committed. Your dreams, your goals, your hope is being murdered. It's being kidnapped. It's disappearing with no trace. It's a cold case. No one seems to know where all this stuff went. Where did hope go? Where did financial security go? Where did my dreams go? Where did your goals go? They all disappeared. No clues. No one's looking. But who committed the crime? Is it the person who's telling you these lies? Or is it you for believing the lies that was told to you? You got friends that sit right next to you and you talk to them about your hopes and your dreams. Talk to them about wanting to build a business, wanting to expand your family, wanting to find a good man or a good woman. Someone that's going to help build your life and encourage you and move you forward and closer to those dreams that you have. Then you hear them voices from them same people telling you that's not possible. Look how many people failed at trying to, look how many people from our neighborhood failed at trying to find a good man or a good woman. Look how many people failed at trying to create their own business. You know how long it takes to create a business? You know the failure rate of creating a business? You might talk to people saying, you know what, I think I got the answer to fighting back against the crime in the inner city and the youth killing each other. You know how many people that tried to fight back? You know how many people that failed to do that? See, you're always told that that's an impossible task. You look around at homeless people and say, you know what? I got an idea to stop homelessness. And you got people say, you know how many people failed? You know how long this has been going on? These are impossible tasks. And you know what happens? You start believing it. You start believing it. But you know the crime in the fact that you believe in that people are telling you these lies? The crime in that is that you believe in these lies and they're not giving you any facts, any true statistics that prove what they're telling you. They're pointing out all of the people who failed, but refusing to even look at or give light to the people who were successful in life at making a difference, who are changing. They tell you can't build a business, but I'm going to beat that dead horse and say it again, but they eliminate the fact that say Walt Disney started in a garage, Steve Jobs and Apple started in a garage, Amazon started in a garage, all major companies today. They're telling you can't start your own business, but they forget that other people did. But you might say, well, these people came from influential families and they had money and stuff. Well, let me give you a little history on some of these people's families. Steve Jobs, for instance, did you know that he was actually adopted? He didn't know his father. I'm not sure what happened to his mother. You know he had a sister that he grew up and didn't get to know until he was grown? He didn't grow up in an influential situation or lifestyle. But he took the tools that he had and turned that into one of the biggest companies in the world. One of the things that we use every day. He made a mark and he changed the world. Despite people telling him even then that it was impossible. When you talk about crime and all the crimes it's committed and how we can't change it, think about one of the greatest crimes that ever was committed in America, which was slavery, segregation. You think about that was changed. That was changed by people who were willing to stand up and die and fight for change. People who didn't believe that slavery would never end. There were people at one point that believed that slavery would never end. And that would constantly push into the people who wanted to fight and make that change. Would try to push the agenda to them that it would never end. But the people who ultimately helped end slavery were the ones that never believed in the lies they was told. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks didn't believe in the lies that was told when they never thought that a black person would not be able to sit anywhere other than the back of the bus, where black and Caucasian people would never be able to intermingle, be friends, be looked at in the same light, and not one less than the other. Now I know we're still dealing with some issues in the world where we're still getting past some of these racial tirades, but you think about where we was and where we at. And there's even people to this day saying, well, we're not too much further than we were. Really? How much do you look at your history? I'm not saying we don't still deal with problems and we don't still have problems, but we're still further ahead. And we're further ahead because one person was willing to be a stepping stool for us to get up to a higher echelon. But we don't stop here. See, that's why we got to look beyond the lies that's being told, because we can't stop here. We have to eliminate that self-entitlement that we have, that self-entitlement that we believe. Something is promised to us. We're deserving of something despite the fact that we shouldn't have to work for it. When you look at the presidential election, most of us went into the presidential election with an entitlement that we were going to win. The candidate that we wanted to win was going to win. Why did we believe that? Because lies that was told to us in media. Because all the polls showed in the media that there was a landslide. There was no way our current president would win. And with that sense of entitlement we had, that sense of don't believing those lies that was told to us, a lot of us sat home, didn't vote, didn't take action, and woke up the next morning after the election with a sense of hopelessness, a sense of fear, a sense of uncertainty, a sense of doubt about our future. All our dreams were shattered. That American dream was gone, was up in smoke. And we all felt helpless. All because we believed in a lie that was told to us. But even after believing that lie, what do? Is there no way out? Is there no way back after we believed in a lie? After a loss, is it true that it was hopeless? That our future was hopeless? That everything went up in smoke? That all our dreams was gone? Is it over? Or is that just another lie that was forced to us? That we was forced to believe because we didn't get the outcome we wanted? That our future is over? That our future, our dreams are now devoured? Is hope lost? No, it's not true. See, step back for a second. Look at the presidential election in this light. There's a lesson to be learned in every situation, and the lesson to be learned in that one is never be entitled. Understand that not only is not tomorrow promised to you, but nothing's promised to you. To quote Marvin Gaye, there's only three things that's promised to us in life. That's death, trouble, and taxes. Those are the only three things that are promised to you in life. I'll say it again. That's death, trouble, and taxes. Those are the only three things you can depend on, you can set your watch to, and that you can feel entitled to. Other than that, you're not entitled to anything. In fact, all else is up for grabs. All else is up for grabs, and the lies are going to come in like a flood. But it's up to you whether you're going to believe in them lies or not. How do you fight back against the lies? How do you take back your future? How do you achieve success in a climate that promotes failure, that promotes fear, that tells you everything is not going to be okay? That when you become old enough to retire, there's a huge chance that the money won't be there for you. How do you fight back against all this discouragement that you're living with? What do? I started off by asking you about all the things you fear, all the things you feel. How do you overcome those things? I'm going to give you straight, raw and uncut meat and potatoes on how you do that. It's going to sound real simple and real cliche, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you really sit back and you think about this and you listen to this and you think about every time in your life you are put in this position, you're going to find out this is the God honest truth. You need to treat every situation, everything you want to achieve, all the success you want to achieve, all the goals you want to achieve. You have to treat it like your life depends on it. When you go out here and work Like if you don't do that job, to the best of your ability, you ain't going to eat. Your family's not going to eat. You're going to lose everything you have. Your life depends on it. When you go after a goal that you have to go at that goal like your life depends on it, like your family life depends on it. Like somebody has a gun to your head and you either have to achieve this goal or die. You have to go through life with a mindset that every step you take, you got to fight for it. And that somebody's trying to take something from you. You got to put a chip on your shoulder that's the size of the golden nugget. And you got to protect it with everything in you. You got to protect and fight for your future. Because you got to understand, ultimately, what I'm telling you to believe, what I'm telling you to think, is the reality of what you're going to face and what you're dealing with. Your life depends on what you do. Right now, in this moment right here, today, while you listen to this podcast, everything you do today is going to affect what's going to happen to you tomorrow. See, you don't have that luxury no more of sitting back saying, you know what, I'm going to get to this later. You show me where the clock is. Show me where the clock is that promise you have later. That promise you that you have the time later to get on to this goal, to achieve these things. To stop believing the lies that was told to you. Show me where that clock is, because I want to see it. I want to see that clock that tells you how much time you have left to try to achieve your goals, to try to achieve success, to try to turn around all the negative things that's in your life, to get to all the things you've been putting off. Show me that clock that shows you that you still have time to keep accepting and believing the lies and the restrictions that was told to you. Show me that clock. Show me that clock that shows that you still have that time left. I want to see the clock. I want to see it. I need the clock so I know how much time I got left. How much time I got left to sit here and believe in the lies that was told to me. How much time I got left to accept the lies that was told to me. Oh, that's right. You can't show me the clock. Because it's an imaginary clock and it really don't exist. And you don't know how much time you got left. But you're assuming that you have time left. Or maybe somebody told you that tomorrow's promised to you. That the next moment's promised to you. That you can still achieve those goals. And you got all the time in the world to achieve those goals. Oh, so you still believe in the lies that's being told to you. The God's truth is, the truth behind these lies is that despite the fact that others have failed to break through that wall, you may be that difference that break through that wall. What you gotta understand is 3,000 people may have punched on that wall and was not able to break through. But your one punch may be the blow that's delivered to break through that wall, because that 3,000 punches that came before you, it may not have broke that wall, but it weakened it enough for you to punch through to make a change. So when you look at the youth, when you look at the violence in inner city, when you look at the fact that most people don't listen to you, don't support you, that they don't not be listening to you, you got to understand, you may be putting those punches up so that next person behind you come and they deliver that powerful punch that breaks through that wall. You may just be weakening the wall to allow others to break through. But you have to get beyond the lies that's being told to you. You got to stop believing when people are telling you you're doing this all for nothing. It's never for nothing. You got to understand, people. This moment right now, this moment you live in right now, the time is now for you to step up and to make a difference in your life, in your children's life. There were people who fought for you to have the freedoms that you have now. There's people who sacrifice so you can have freedoms that you have now. The life that you're living right now, no matter how good it is or how bad it is, the fact that you have something good in your life. And if you can't find anything good in your life, it's probably because you're already dead. And I don't mean literally, but inside you already died. And you allow lies to be told to you and make you die. Maybe them lies that was told to you that there is nothing good in your life. And you believed in that lie. But for those of you who still have not completely drunk that whole pitcher of Kool-Aid, Understand, there's people who had died and struggled and put their lives on the line so you can enjoy the freedoms you have. So that you can take those next steps that they couldn't take to make the change in the world that they couldn't make. There's people who fought for you. No matter what your race is, no matter what your gender is, there's somebody who put their life on the line, put their future on the line, who were brave enough and smart enough to look past the lies that was being told to them and to find the truth. Now the question is, are you going to find the truth in you? Are you going to look deep inside you and are you going to find the truth? The true meaning of why you're here? Are you going to pave the way so that somebody else can have a future? Are you going to be selfish and eat up all the harvest that someone else planted for you and leave nothing behind for anybody else? Ask yourself that question next time you say something's impossible or somebody's not listening to you or you can't break through with somebody. You just might be planting the seed for somebody else to reap the harvest. You may be planting the seed to push for somebody else to break through. That punch you might throw may be the punch that weakens that wall for somebody else to break down. The violence that you're seeing, the lies that's being told to you, it's all meant to be destroyed. But the question is, when are we going to get past ourselves? That selfishness in ourselves that we have. The selfishness that we was taught to believe to have. We was taught to believe to have selfishness for ourselves, that everything is about us. When are we going to get past that? And start thinking like the people who fought to give us the freedoms that we have today. The freedom of life, the freedom of choice, the freedom of speech, the freedom to believe that all is possible, even though it seems impossible. Ask yourself, when are you going to rid yourself of the entitlement that somebody falsely told you that you deserve? True story. Before I sign off, true story. I told my mom as a grown man that thank you for all that you've done for me and to raising me into the man I am today. But the one thing I didn't appreciate my mom did, and I told her one thing I wish you didn't do was, you taught me to have a false sense of entitlement, that the world owed me something, that I was deserving of something that I wasn't. How did my mom teach me that? She taught me that by always giving me what I wanted. I like sneakers, always did. And my mom, whenever I asked for them, my mom would break her neck and find a way to get me those sneakers. Or to get me what I wanted, to a point I started feeling entitled. I didn't appreciate it as much anymore. I didn't feel like I had to work for it. Despite the fact that she worked so hard for it, I didn't see it. And I started feeling entitled, like the world owed me something. And I carried that entitlement with me even into adulthood. Until the reality of life smacked me in my face like a tree branch. And it smacked me out of that trance that I was living in, where I believed in I had a sense of entitlement. And when reality clicked, I realized I had to work for what I want. Not only just for what I want, but for what I want for my wife, for what I want for my sons. And me working for what I want and not looking for anybody to give me anything is the greatest feeling in the world. It's the greatest achievement in the world. I feel proud as a father, as a husband, to look at my wife, look in my son's eyes, and to know that I'm giving them the greatest possible future, life that they can have. Not because I felt I was entitled to anything, but because I was willing to work for something. I want you, my listeners, to have that same feeling. But first, you have to find the truth behind the lies. So if there's something you want to do, something you want to say, there's a dream that you want to see, there's a peak that you want to reach, all I got left to say to you is, stop believing the lies that are being told to you. Seek out the truth behind the lies. And one last thing, remember to do your thing. I'm Alan the Great. This is the Ordinary People Podcast, and I like to say peace.